listening to the Metal Command Podcast.
Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to the Metal Command Podcast. Tony here with you, and today I'm here to talk about Slayer, something everybody's been talking about for 2 weeks. I have not been able to really chime in on it as far as doing a podcast about it because I was out of commission for about a week and a half, finally got a new computer, got a new studio set up, and I'm back in action and ready to do this again. So I'm going to talk about Slayer. I'm going to get this video out there really quick because I think it's very important to talk about this, because Slayer, of course, is one of the most influential bands in the history of the heavy metal scene. And so they've come back to play some festivals. A lot of mixed reactions. A lot of people really excited for this. A lot of fans that have followed the band for years are excited for this. A lot of people who have not seen the band play live are now going to attend these 2 or 3 festivals they are playing because they are excited to finally see this band live. And then, of course, you have all of the haters with their panties in a bunch that want to bash the band. I'm going to get to a lot of you here in a minute. But I'm going to talk about why this makes sense, despite the fact that Kerry King is putting out a solo album and Gary Holt has Exodus. I'm also going to make 4 main points of why I think this is a good thing and what I think about them coming back. At the very end of the video, too, I am going to talk about something else, and that there's one negative, in my opinion, of them coming back, but it has nothing to do with Slayer, but more to do with the industry. So let's talk about number 1, and let's debunk a myth that so many of you haters out there right now have been throwing all over the internet. Number 1, there's a fake quote saying Kerry King is going to sue the band. That's a pile of BS. But let's get to the other, one of the biggest criticisms. There's 2 criticisms, actually. The first criticism is going to be part of this main point, and that is they are just like Kiss and Motley Crue, and they're making another comeback tour or whatever after saying that they were done. Folks, they never said they wouldn't play live again. They never said the band was going to end. They left it open. What they said is they were not going to tour full-time anymore. Now, a number of you have called me out on this, saying, oh, nobody ever said that. Well, I have the proof they said it. November 9th, 2019. I remember the article and I remember the press release. Metal Injection, November 9th, 2019. Put an article out. I'm going to flash it up here on the screen. Slayer's farewell tour doesn't mean the end of the band, according to their manager. And throughout the article, it explains why. One of the things that it said, and let me flash this up here. It says right here, and just because this is their final tour doesn't mean we won't see Slayer play ever again. I could see them popping up once or twice a year to headline a big festival. Something Ozzy has suggested he would do after his final tour. So again, they are not doing a full tour. They're doing 3 festivals as of now. That is what is going on. Sorry, haters. So I debunked one of your myths. Actually, 2 of them. Because the Kerry King quote about getting lawyers is fake. I know you want to believe that they're going to go back on their word. I know you guys are looking for things to throw at Slayer. But you know what? You are completely wrong. And completely off base. They never said they wouldn't play live again. The link to the article will be in the comments on Facebook and in the show notes on YouTube. So you can eat it, haters. Because I'm going to get to the next aspect of this in a minute. And why does this make sense? I'll tell you why it makes sense. For a number of reasons. Because number 1, since they are only going to be playing 2 or 3 shows a year, that means Kerry King and Paul Bostaph can do the Kerry King solo band stuff. And let's be honest, if Slayer was going to come back and tour full time, Kerry King wasn't going to go and just recruit an entire band and book a bunch of tour dates. I'm willing to bet that these festival appearances were well known for a while. But let's talk a little bit about why it makes sense. So Gary Holt can go and pursue Exodus. Kerry King, Paul Bostaff can do the Kerry King solo stuff. And Tom Araya, who was the guy that really wanted to shut it down, he can go out and play music 2 or 3 times a year like and doesn't have to commit to a long full-time tour. So that's why it makes sense. Let's get to the second aspect of this. A lot of the haters, they're only doing it for money. Well, yeah. I mean, a band is a business. If you are a band like Slayer, you get the urge to play live and money is offered to you, they're going to take it. Every single one of you out there that is a musician or in whatever profession you are in, if you were going to get the money offered to you that Slayer is probably getting offered for these festivals, you would totally take it. So you are all hypocrites when it comes to that. You would all take that money in a heartbeat. I look through the comments right now, and you know who most of the haters are? They are musicians who have not accomplished anything close to what Slayer has. Not even close. I guarantee you all of you would take that money to go play a festival. It is a band, but it is also a business. Yes, I'm sure there is the urge to play their songs live and play these songs live. Even Tom, who's sitting at home, gets the urge once in a while to probably play live music again. Aside from that, you're going to get a paycheck. And everybody else can do what they want to do and then get together 2 or 3 times a year. So as far as the money goes, and all this, and yeah, there was a lot of trash talking. At least people took it as trash talking. But the thing is, maybe if you don't like each other, maybe if you don't have much of a relationship, you definitely have a business relationship, right? I mean, let's say Kerry King and Tom Araya hate each other. Let's say if they did. They only got to see each other 2 hours at a festival. Maybe 3 hours if they sign a bunch of merchandise. It's called business partners. It happens. Bands are a business. Music is a business. These festivals are a business. They're going to take the money. And every single one of you who claims they wouldn't take the money and has this holier than thou attitude, you are all hypocrites because you would all take it. Let's just call it for what it is. You would all take that money in a heartbeat. No questions asked. I'm looking down at some of the reactions and some of the things that comments and stuff people have left on this thing. I'm looking at, the best thing that was said is Gary Holt's wife basically telling people, if you don't like it, don't go. Got to admit to you, folks, she's not wrong. If you don't like it, don't go. Kind of like the same people that had the meltdown over the whole Pantera thing. If you don't like it, don't go. Really that simple. Let's move on to the next point that I've made about this, and point number 3. Criticism always comes from below. I brought up the money. I brought up and debunked the myth that they said they would never, the myth that they said he would never play again, which was a lie. Trying to be pushed by the hate brigade. My thing is this: what do when I see people, why are you upset about a really good band coming back? Yeah, they're not the same since Jeff left or since Dave Lombardo left, but they're still a very, very good live band. But all of the people in the comments, all of you, are people that haven't accomplished as much in life or in music as these guys have. And that's my main point that kind of goes into the whole money thing. I've dealt with criticism from below because in the photography world, when I was, when I had photos of mine in centerfolds, magazine covers, the only hate that I received wasn't from people more successful than me. It was always the people who were not as successful as me. So for all of you musicians out there on this constant, bandwagon of bashing Slayer for coming back, doing exactly what they said they were going to do, possibly play some festivals, why don't you concentrate on your own craft, worry about what you are doing, and put your energy into that as opposed to bashing Slayer. Plenty for a lot of you folks to work on. Last point that I'm going to get to in regards to this. You just get the urge. Whether you're getting paid or whether you are not going to get paid, sometimes just as a musician, you get the urge you want to play again. I really don't, sing very much. I got coaxed out of retirement to do this Empires of Eden thing. And I got the urge to do it. Not all the time, but it was fun to do it once. Maybe twice this year. Maybe I'll sing on something else. But the whole point is, as a musician, you don't do it for a long time. You're like, man, I really miss this. I mean, I get Tom Araya wants to be at home, and I get that he wants to hang out. And I know that his wife, they talked about like his wife trying to coax him into the reunion. But let's face it, you go from living in parking lots, playing in front of large crowds for close to 40 years. It's really hard to stop that. Even if you feel burned out or you're tired or you get older, you still want to get back and do that once in a while. So I understand as a musician wanting to get back into it. Let's say he wasn't getting paid that much money. Sometimes you just have the urge to play music again. It happens. So these are the four things I have to say. You know what? God forbid, it's like people act like someone killed their dog over this. If you don't like it, don't go. Gary Holt's wife put it perfectly. If you don't like it, don't go. It's like when Charlie Benante said, if you don't want to see the Pantera band, Pantera play live again with him and Zach, don't go. Nobody's forcing you to go. The only reason anybody's going to comment and bash anybody is because there's a jealousy thing and they have this inner need to bash somebody and be critical of them. So much wasted energy on just bashing people when you could be improving your own life. That's pretty much how I look at it. Now let's go to the last point about this. Because when I bring up musicians in the comments bashing Slayer, some of you have a very valid point. Not all of you, but a few of you have made this comment, and I 100% agree with it. And it's something, and it's not necessarily Slayer's fault. It's the industry. Folks, how many heavy metal bands, newer bands, are going to be able to headline a festival in the next 15 years? 10 years? I mean, how old are the guys in Slayer? 50s? Late 50s? Mid 50s? Where are a lot of these larger bands going to be 10 years from now? Where's Iron Maiden going to be? Metallica? Are they still going to be playing? And the thing is, the industry has not pumped up a lot of newer bands who are very good, might I add, to help them gain the audience to be a headliner at a festival. So you bring back Slayer, and these promoters are salivating over the fact Slayer is coming back to play shows. It's like a Band-Aid. Where is the metal scene in the music industry going to be 20 years from now? And in my criticism, if you want to bring Slayer back, great. But there really isn't as much investment in the future of the scene as there should be. A lot of these newer bands are not getting the promotion they should be getting to get themselves to a level. And then when I say to a level, I'm talking about audience, to be able to headline festivals. A few of the people in there that were critical of this, that people would see as a hater, made this very valid point. I don't consider that hating. I consider it, okay, you're concerned about the future of the genre and the music business. Like, who's going to headline Wacken in 15 years, 20 years? Not going to have as many headliners if things keep going the way that they are. So while you can bring Slayer back and bring in that revenue, these people are probably freaking out. Like, man, what are we going to do in 10, 15 years? So that's all I have about it. I think the Slayer reunion is great. I think the industry should start investing and promoting bands to a point where they can gain that audience to be able to headline a festival 10, 15 years down the road. I mean, there's a couple bands, but they're not on the level of like a Halloween or Judas Priest or Iron Maiden, Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth. You kind of get where I'm going with this. Bringing back Slayer means a lot of these folks are not going to be as invested in the future as they should be. They see the dollar signs, they don't think about the future. That's all I'm saying. I'm just bringing up that point because a few of you out there that are musicians said that in the comments. That's all I have for you, folks. Thanks for watching. Stay metal. I'll see you all soon.